What's up, guys? Hope you guys are alright. Welcome back to my speak clearly. What's up, guys? Hope you guys are alright. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's episode is going to essentially be like a brutally honest opinion of how my past few weeks have gone. Basically a prep update. I'll stick some photos up of my physique as well, just take you through my sort of weight trends and how I'm looking, how I'm feeling. Currently coming into the sort of final stages now. We're about 10 days out, I believe, from today, 10 days out. On Sunday it will be a week out because my show's on the 23rd of June. I'm feeling good, feeling really confident, but the past few weeks, I'm not gonna lie, have been some of the toughest weeks ever on the whole of my prep. They've been really tough, but I'll go into a few reasons why that is and why that could be. But I'll also be taking you guys through a Q&A, just answering some of your questions. I put up a sticker, a question sticker on Instagram a few days ago. Got some questions in, so I'm going to be answering some of them. They're all essentially prep related, so I'll go through them for you. But other than that, I hope you enjoy the video. Okay guys, so an update on where I am in terms of last show day. Now the last show day I managed the post-show window incredibly well. Essentially, you know, when you're in a post-show window, it's incredibly easy to just take your foot off the gas, you know, get home after a show, and I can see how easy it is to turn into a bit of a binge eater post-show. It's so easy because, you know, psychologically you're oh, that's one show out of the way, I'm just gonna let myself have a meal. And I did let myself have a meal. I just basically had a massive bowl of oats with some dark chocolate and peanut butter, but that was about it. And you know, the second you have something a little bit naughty and you're not really allowed something like that, I can completely see how it triggers this sort of binge eating mindset. So, you know, if there's any competitors out there, just make sure you deal with the post-show window, especially in between shows, incredibly well, because you know you've put all of this hard work in for the sacrifice of having, you know, bits of food that you're not really allowed. It just seems like a complete waste. So just be really careful if you're in a post-show window. Basically, in terms of trends of where my weight was at, I came into the show at 180 pounds, so that was post peak week, so that was all carved up. And then a week later from there I went down to 175.9, and then I dropped all the way down to 174.6. So you know, a decent amount off in 6, 7, 8, 9 days. That was how my sort of weight trended down. And then in my physique shots, I was sending my physique shots to AJ, and I was just, to be honest, mindset wise, I'm pretty flat out in terms of just, you know, tunnel vision. You know, I can, if my macros are set, I'll hit my macros to the T. I'll do my cardio, I'll do my steps, but I just wasn't looking, I didn't look well, to be honest with you. I was flat. I didn't even look like I lifted. Training performance was in the gutters. I didn't want to train, and that was a huge worrying sort of red flag signal to me. If I don't want to go to the gym, that is a huge worry, because my biggest love and passion in life is training. So there was a good week where I just didn't want to go to the gym at all, and I was just thinking what is it? Is it the food? Is it my previous experiences with dieting, or is it my experience in in the whole competing situation? And I was just what is going on? And then AJ bumped my food up, took my calories up by maybe 300, 400, and then I started slowly coming back to life. And the past 4-5 days I've been on 400 grams of protein, 180 180 grams of protein, 400 grams of carbs and 40 grams of fat, and I've completely come back to life. Like, I was looking at my physique shots prior to this sort of practice peak slash like diet break kind of thing, and I was just like, I'm just not happy with this physique whatsoever. I was flat. I actually looked kind of fat in a way. Like, my physique wasn't popping. I looked soft. I looked watery. And, you know, we've just put like loads of carbs in. Well, not loads, like 400 grams of carbs. You know, it's been very, very well structured, and it's just worked so well. You know, I've come back to life. I actually want to train now. Training performance is incredible. Steps are getting done. I'm not doing any cardio. And we're just basically removing stress, and we've removed all of this stress out of my physique, and it's really, really starting to show. It's not really in a position, I'm not really in a position right now where I want to be sharing my physique, just because I really, really want to fine tune it, you know, just look my best possible, and then I'll share it on show day. But it's really, really exciting. Yeah, so the past few weeks have been a really, really big struggle. You know, you come off this huge high post-show. You know, I was so happy with like the top 3 placing in my first bodybuilding show. You know, I was over the moon. You know, seeing all my friends and family there supporting me. And then like you have this sort of buzz for like a few days afterwards, and then it's just like crashing back down to reality of dieting hard, digging, early mornings, you know, getting into bed nice and early, getting my sleep in, and it was like back to reality. And I love reality, but I just like, I didn't fall out of love with the process because I love the process. I'm just so like stubborn and determined. I just love it, but like it was really, really, really difficult. And this is just me being like brutally honest. Like, I could say, you know, it's all going swimmingly and it's all going well, but this is just me being completely honest. And I think like it's interesting for people to follow the process. But yeah, we're in a very, very good position. Training performance is up, 0 cardio. I just do 15,000 steps a day, 400 carb, 180 protein, 40 fat, and it's going very, very, very well. Posing every single morning, sending physique shots to AJ, and he's just sort of you know, auto-regulating my food and just adjusting the food depending on how I look that day. So I'll send him some shots tomorrow morning, see what he thinks, and yeah, we'll go from there. But other than that, guys, that's kind of the honesty and physique update slash prep update out of the way. Onto some questions. Okay, so the questions, guys, I'm gonna really like just blast through these, sort of quick fire them, just get them done as soon as possible because I don't want to make this video too long for you. I'm really undecided whether I'm gonna put this video combined with my like final episode, but I might keep the final episode. Yeah, I'm gonna do that actually. I'm gonna keep the final episode on its own, so this will come out as like a Q&A. Obviously you know that because you're watching it, duh. But questions on here, you can see them. So, question, how much deficit you run for initial and final prep? I presume that's asking how much of a deficit I was in for my final like stages of prep essentially. My final sort of macros and like calories for like truly digging, I believe I was on 125 grams of carbs, 50 fat and 200 protein. That was on a rest day. And then on a training day I was 185 grams of carbs, 200 protein and 40 fat. So it got down to like 1,550. That was actually lower macros than what I just stated, but that was only for like 4 or 5 days of like a sort of depletion phase before I started my peak week for my previous show. So that's where my macros and calories were. But the majority of my prep, they stayed above 2,000, just above 2,000. But we did go through a phase of like 9, 10, 11 days of being pretty low, and those were definitely those are the days where it was just pure tunnel vision and just determination and just passion and just true grit to get through it, because it was so difficult. It was so difficult. But when you're in those phases, you've just got to remind yourself that it's a choice. And you know, being in a position of prep is like of prepping yourself and for a show. You know, it's an extremely like, it's a luxury being able to do that. You know, you're essentially putting yourself in a position where you're restricting your calories. You know, that is a luxury. Like, not many people in the world can do that. So you just got to remind yourself it's like essentially a choice. And then as soon as your acceptance like meets your task, like once you accept, and like in your head your like level of acceptance that, you know, you're going to be hungry, you're going to be tired, your sleep's going to be shit, once you accept all of those things, it becomes pretty easy. And it's kind of like this weird, like this like pure like difficult task. It becomes like a kind of a weird passion, and you just like, you kind of enjoy like the pain of it. I don't know if that's just me going crazy, but I'm sure some people can relate. Okay, so the next question is my supplement stack for my prep. To be honest, I haven't really utilised that many supplements. At the beginning I used quite a lot of whey, but as hunger levels crept up, I took that out and just replaced it with like whole foods like chicken breast, etc. Just because whey is really good, but you know, when you're pretty hungry, I'd rather have a chicken breast instead of like a protein shake. The odd pre-workout here and there. I utilised coffee for like caffeine in the morning. Yohimbine, however you say it. I used that at this sort of like mid stage, but we pulled it out after a few weeks just because I started taking it, and then a few weeks before my show I had this sort of like watery look, and Yohimbine can sometimes hold water, so we pulled that out, and haven't taken it since. I think it's a good supplement, but if you're going to take it, you need to be pretty diced anyway. So if you're taking it like mid-off season and you expect to get shredded glutes from it, I think you should reevaluate that option. Fish oil, creatine, pre-workout, EAAs, highly branched cyclic dextrin, intra-workout, and I believe that's it. Oh, Support Max as well, post-workout, and Dr. Dean's sleep stack I occasionally took. I've been taking that like for the past 2 weeks relatively consistently because my sleep's just been in the gutters. I can't get off to sleep, so that's in there. What else? Did you ever binge or cheat other than your diet break? To be honest, most of my diet breaks and the level of calories I've been on hasn't really put me in a position where I've wanted to binge or cheat. I haven't really craved many foods other than carrot cake. I have this weird obsession with carrot cake, and muffins and cookies sometimes. But other than that, I haven't really craved anything. I just crave the food that I'm currently on. And I crave the process of doing well in bodybuilding shows more than I crave food. I'll be honest, I binged one time. Well, you can call it a binge or a cheat, whatever you want. I think using the term binge and cheat is kind of like quite negative. But at the very beginning of prep, it was probably like 1 week in, 2 weeks in. There was a packet of chocolate fingers in my cupboard, and I had one chocolate finger, and I went to sit down and watch some telly, and I went back to the cupboard and I just ate the whole pack within probably like 45 seconds. Like, and if you're in the UK and you know what chocolate fingers are, there's got to be a good like 50 in there, so I just demolished the whole pack within like 2 minutes. But other than that, I've never cheated on my diet. You know, every night I have like a big bowl of oats with like raspberries and Greek yogurt and peanut butter and stuff like that, and that's all within my macros. Am I focusing? There we go. And that's all within my macros, so I've never really felt like I'm in a position where I want to binge, just because I eat foods I love anyway, so that's why I don't binge. Okay, so a very closely related question: how do you deal with strong cravings and basically the craving to eat food that you're not really allowed to eat? When you get a meal plan or when you get your macros, you need to have a balance of foods you love versus foods that are going to be functional and, you know, voluminous and keep you full. There's no point, you know, if you, let's say your calories are 200 protein, like 200 carb and 50 fat, for example. You could quite easily have all the food that you wanted to, and like eat things you like typically aren't allowed on a prep. You know, you could have like things like chocolate, you could have things like cakes or burgers and stuff, but by the time you've had like one meal of that, you're not going to have any macros left for the end of the day. So personally, what I do, I have a meal plan, but sometimes I switch it up. My meal plan has me on around 6 meals a day. Like 3 of those meals are going to be like protein fat meals. So I'll have like chicken breast or like maybe some beef mince with like a salad or something and veggies. And you know, you can put yourself in a position where you're having more veggies, like higher volume foods, etc. And just like generally keeping yourself as full as possible. Just going for like higher volume foods. Like for the majority of my prep, I was eating couscous as like one of my major carb sources, because you know, like 200 grams of couscous is like a large amount of food compared to having, I don't know, like 50 grams of Cocoa Pops. You know, they're basically the same macros, but which is going to fill you up more? I'd rather have the 200 grams of couscous instead of 50 grams of Cocoa Pops, which will just be demolished in like 30 seconds. So you've just got to be like really smart of your food choices. Go for food choices that are like voluminous. You know, you're putting veggies in, like carb sources like potatoes, oats as well, like couscous, like things that are voluminous. And just basically don't spend your macros stupidly. You know, you've got to think if you're like, just treat your macros like your bank account. Don't spend your macros, don't spend your bank account on stupid things. You know, you could either have something like higher volume or lower volume. It's up to you. If you want to like get a craving out of the way, you could have like a bowl of Cocoa Pops, but I'd rather have something more voluminous like the couscous or oats, for example. Another tip is structure your meal plan so that you're having foods in there that you enjoy. As I said earlier, I have a big bowl of oats before I go to bed because I like oats and it stops me from craving oats. So I have oats and like berries and Greek yogurt and stuff like that. And you just got to choose, you know, you can still eat really tasty, really healthy foods whilst you're on prep. You don't have to be like eating just chicken and broccoli all the time. You know, you can have things you want. Other strategies like implementing things like coffee. I'm going to be honest, I've developed a slight coffee addiction whilst I've been on prep. Like, I do joke about it, but it's probably something I need to like actually keep on top of. Just having numerous amounts of like coffee every single day just isn't particularly good for you. So I need to be careful on that, but like things like coffee, just having teas throughout the day. Sugar-free jellies are a big one for me. I used to have quite a lot of sugar-free jellies. Diet drinks like Diet Dr. Pepper, Pepsi Maxes, sugar-free fizzy drinks, etc. Sparkling waters, flavoured waters, providing they're all sugar-free and they have like a low amount of calories in, you'll be pretty good. So you can still have like sweet things. You just got to be really smart and careful about how you structure it. Okay, so another great question is, did I prefer men's physique or bodybuilding? 100% bodybuilding, 100%. It's really weird because when I first started this phase of like diet and prep, I was obsessed with men's physique, just obsessed. I was like, I'm a men's physique guy, you know, I'm going to do like all 3 shows men's physique. Then I decided to do 1 bodybuilding show and 2 men's physique shows. That didn't happen. I ended up doing body power with men's physique, and my final 2 shows, the one I've just done is junior bodybuilding, and the one I'm doing again is junior bodybuilding. I just find it so much, like, it's just way more like passion, and like I just find it way more interesting. There's nothing against men's physique guys, of course. Like, I've competed as a men's physique guy before and I loved it, but I just feel like I can put more passion into it, like through the posing, through the music, just the poses themselves, your individual routine. I just find it a bit more like true to myself and a bit more like raw, and I can just put like more of my energy into bodybuilding. Whereas with physique, just doing quarter turns, I was just like, you know, this isn't particularly dynamic for me. You know, that's for me. You know, some of these men's physique guys are like jacked. One of my best mates, Ben, like, who you probably saw in the body power video, he's a men's physique guy, but he could be like a classic bodybuilder. Like, these men's physique guys are massive. So like, no discredit to them, but I just prefer bodybuilding now. And I'd have only found that out because of competing in both, so I'm glad I've done it. But 100% for the future, for now, and in my next show, definitely junior bodybuilding. Okay, so another really good question by my boy Jake. He said, once I've finished this prep phase, a 1 year or 2 year off season, 100% a 2 year off season at the minimum. 100%. I need to be honest, coming out of this phase, it's going to take me like 4 or 5 months to get out of this phase anyway, and to put on enough muscle in order to do some serious damage in bodybuilding shows, I need more than a year off. I'm going to be taking at least like 2.5 years, probably even 3 years. My plan is to essentially transition into an off season, pull on as much muscle as possible whilst remaining, pretty tidy. I'm gonna have to get pretty fluffy, and I don't mind doing that, I don't care. But I'm just want to put on as much muscle as possible, get to a phase where I'm really happy with the amount of muscle mass I have. I know I can get in condition, I've done it before, I just need more muscle. I just need to be in a position where I have more muscle. It's as simple as that. There's bigger guys out there. I can match them on condition, but I just need more muscle. So that's the plan. My goal and my dream is to essentially compete when I'm like 23. So I'm going to max out the junior class in terms of my age. Compete in a late qualifier, win the qualifier, hopefully do the British finals, and we see where it takes me from there. But that's kind of my dream, to like win a British title and possibly even a world title, and that's my dream as a junior bodybuilder. A big dream, but I think I can do it. Okay, so the final question is every contest the same regarding what you are judged on? Basically, within the UK there's like several federations. You've got the BNBF, UK DFBA, MPA, MPC, you've also got like Two Bros Pro, PCA shows, UK BFF, don't know if I said that already, but there's loads of shows, and within every show you basically have different categories. So you have like women's bikini, men's physique, junior bodybuilding, classic bodybuilding, 212, open, middleweights, lightweights, heavyweights, teens, etc. And every category is essentially like got different criteria. So for bodybuilding it's mostly like symmetry, size, condition, etc. Men's physique, it's all about that V taper and conditioning, and like bigger shoulders, bigger chest, bigger back, but like a really tiny waist. I'm not really sure on the girls classes like women's bikini, but just like a nice slim figure, like V taper as well, things like that. Basically every single class has criteria, and you're judged on that criteria. I presume there's slight differences in like different categories in terms of like different federations. Like one federation might want a slightly bigger men's physique boy, but another federation might just want like a slightly more conditioned men's physique kid. You never really know, but basically if you're a bodybuilder or you're a men's physique guy, you're going to be judged on that criteria. Okay guys, so those are the questions for today. That is a video wrapped up. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully it gave you a bit of an insight into how I've been getting on prep and a couple of the questions answered. Plans for the next video. My next video will be my Scotland show day, my final show day with the UK DFBA. But other than that guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give it a like, drop a comment if you have any video suggestions. But other than that guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.